This year in fifth grade social studies, what we've been talking about is the beginnings of our country, the United States. And at the beginning of the year, we talked about where the first people who lived in North America and the portion that became the United States in this area, where they came from. And the theory that we learned about was the land bridge theory that said that long ago, thousands and thousands of years ago, people migrated from Asia by crossing over this area here, which was frozen at the time during the Ice Age. And so it was called a land bridge. And then over thousands of years, they spread out across North America and then down into Central America and South America. And the people that first lived in North America and Central and South America had many different cultures. They were different tribes. So we were talking about, again, this map is showing where they came from. This is Asia, and this is how it was frozen at one time and how they spread out. And then we talked about how the different culture areas, depending on the resources available to them, that would affect their homes, the food that they ate, their clothing. They all had different religious beliefs. So this map is just showing some of the different regions. It's not showing all of the different tribes. And what I'd like to do is to look at, and let's go back to this first map, to look at the different maps and to use them to review what we know so far in order to help us prepare to learn about some of the first settlements. So again, first people that came here crossed over a land bridge, spread out, and again, thousands and thousands of years. This just didn't, they didn't just start walking and walking and walking. They settled. Some of them were nomadic, meaning they had to keep following their food. Some of them, if they settled in a place where they could farm, they were able to stay there. And again, over here, it's showing some of the different culture areas. The Eastern Woodlands, Southeast, Great Plains, Southwest. And depending on your maps, they might have the regions broken up into different sections. I also want to use this map to review some of the things, the features, and the locations of some different landforms and some bodies of water that we should know about in fifth grade. This is the Atlantic Ocean, and we in North Carolina are about here. Okay, so here is the Atlantic Ocean on the east. Now, this area up here is Canada, and this area down here is Central America, and Mexico is here. On this side, on the west coast, we have the Pacific Ocean, and here is the Gulf of Mexico. You should be familiar with those areas in fifth grade. And again, looking over at this map, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Gulf of Mexico. So also to review some different things using the map, I want to review where the first explorers. So we said that the Native Americans spread out, and you can tell from this, this is a physical map, and it's showing mountainous areas, okay? So again, going back to Native Americans settled in this area, spread out. They were living here for thousands of years. And in the late 1400s, early 1500s, some European countries decided to explore some different regions. Christopher Columbus actually was looking for a western route to where he wanted to go was the Indies. At that time, they didn't know about the North and South America. So he thought if he just traveled west, he'd be able to get to India this way. And if North and South America weren't here, he would have. But anyway, he landed in the Bahamas. And when he came back and he brought some of the things he got in the Bahamas, and he took some Native Americans as slaves, which is awful and a whole nother story. When he took the people and the riches that he got back to Spain, and other countries learned about his voyages, they started to send explorers out in search of riches and gold. And they mostly at that time were exploring in the South America, Central America, and Southwest and South North in North America. Excuse me. So this is a close-up map of Europe, okay? Because I want us to really understand where these countries are, because I know we've had some confusion. Again, we're over here. This is North Carolina. This is Spain. So Columbus came from here, sailed across, and he actually landed in about here somewhere. This area is France. Okay, we have Ireland and England. Okay, we have Italy. We've mostly learned about Spanish explorers, French explorers, Dutch explorers, English explorers, and they would have come this way. Now remember, John Cabot and Henry Hudson were two English explorers that were actually, I'm sorry, John Cabot was Italian. They were two European explorers that were looking for what's called a northwest route, Northwest Passage, and they thought they would be able to somehow go through this area here and above North America in order to get to the Indies, India. But they did not, and we know that Henry Hudson and John Cabot both were mutinied and left to die. So this is another explorer map. This one showing the route of Cabot and Hudson. Again, they're trying to go the Northwest Passage. Verrazano, remember he was off the coast of North Carolina. Very detailed descriptions of what the land was like. This is Columbus's route. So again, here we have Europe, North America, South America's down here. In between Europe and North America, you have the Atlantic Ocean. Over here, you have the Pacific. Okay, so we've learned about the different explorers who came over. Initially, they were looking for riches. They were looking for gold. They had heard fables about down here. Ponce de Leon had heard that there was a fountain of youth. Coronado and others had heard that in this area there were 7 cities of gold. So that's what they were looking for initially. Now the Spanish, when they didn't find all of those riches, they eventually just headed to the southern areas down here. And then the English and the French and the Dutch, they started sending more explorers over here, and eventually settlements were started here. And the 13 English colonies, which we will be learning about next, were in this area here. Okay, so that's just a little quick review using some maps of exploration, and going back here, showing where the first people where North and South America came from. So with that information, we will be getting ready to learn about the 13 English colonies.